Good day, everyone. Today we'll be presenting our laboratory activity about the skin, its layers, and accessory structures. Our objectives for these lessons are to identify and distinguish the three main layers of the skin, the epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. Recognize the sublayers of the epidermis and their characteristic cells. And lastly, locate and identify the accessory structures of the skin such as hair follicles, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands.
The skin is the outer covering of our body. It protects us from external damage like germs, sunlight, and temperature changes. It also helps regulate body temperature and prevent dehydration. These are the major parts of the skin: the hair, the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. Each layer has a specific role in protecting and supporting our body.
The epidermis is the outermost layer of the skin. It's a part we can see or touch. Its main function is to act as a barrier that protects the body from bacteria, chemicals, and UV rays. It also helps regulate body temperature. The dermis lies beneath the epidermis. It contains nerve endings, blood vessels, oil glands, and sweat glands. This layer gives the skin its flexibility and strength, and it's where sensations like touch and temperature are detected.
And for the hypodermis is the deepest layer of the skin. It connects the dermis to the muscle and bones and contains fat or adipose tissue. This layer helps insulate the body and cushion internal organs from impact. Next slide. For procedure, in our procedure, we observe a prepared slide of skin cross-section under the microscope. We examine the epidermis under the 40 times objective lens to identify its sub-layers, and then scan the dermis and hypodermis to locate hair hair follicles, sweat glands, and seb ano na? Sebe, sebaceous gland. So,
In our findings, we were able to identify the three main layers of the skin. We are also able to observe the accessory structures such as coiled sweat glands and the oval hair follicles and the lobulated sebaceous glands. These structures help in protecting the skin and maintaining body functions. To conclude, the skin is not just a simple covering. It's a complex organ that performs essential roles in protection, sensation, and temperature regulation. Each layer from the epidermis to the hypodermis has a unique structure and function that keeps our body safe and balanced. Through our observation, we learn to appreciate how detailed and important the skin is to our overall health. Thank you so much.
Good day, everyone. We are here to present our laboratory exercise 2, entitled Microscopy Anatomy of the Arteries and Veins. This activity used microscopic inspection to help us comprehend the composition and operation of blood arteries. We examined the arteries and veins in this experiment, which are crucial to blood circulation. Through the use of a microscope, we studied their structures and contrasted their similarities and differences. Form and function are related, as this helped us understand.
Our objective is to identify the three layers of arteries and veins, comparing their microscopic structures and connecting these differences to their roles in the circulatory system are basically the goals of this activity. These materials allowed us to clearly view and analyze the different layers of the blood vessels. In our procedure, we used both low and high power objectives to view the frog's vein and artery. We noticed that lumens form and wall thickness in addition to identifying the three tunics, the intima, medium, and externa. We then looked at the artery and vein slides from mammals or humans. We focused on variations in wall thickness, lumen shape, and valve presence when comparing our findings with those of the frog samples.
We discovered that arteries had rounder lumens and thicker walls, whereas veins have larger, irregular lumens and thinner walls. In carrying blood away from the heart, the artery's strong wall, particularly the tunica media, allows it to withstand high blood pressure. However, the valves and veins help return blood to the heart by preventing backflow. So in general, these structures variations demonstrate how veins and arteries are appropriate for their distinct roles in the circulatory system.
And for the conclusion, to conclude, the study clarified the tight connection between blood vessel structure and function. Veins have valves for low pressure blood return, whereas arteries are elastic and robust to handle high pressure. I learned from this lab how crucial healthy vessels are to preserving appropriate circulation and general bodily function. For the application, knowing the structure of veins and arteries is useful in everyday life, particularly in the medical field. It provides guidance to physicians and nurses while administering injection or taking blood, and it describes ailments like varicose vein and hypertension.
Seeing arteries and veins under a microscope help us understand how structure supports function and how crucial it is to maintain the health of our blood vessels, which lead us to appreciate the beauty of circulatory system.
Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about the microscopic anatomy of the digestive system, focusing on two important organs, the stomach and the small intestine. These organs are essential for breaking down the food we eat and absorbing the nutrients that keep us healthy. By looking at their structures under the microscope, we can better understand how each layer works together to make the digestion happen.
Our main goal in this study were to first identify the different layers that make up the stomach and small intestine, like the mucosa, submucosa, and muscular layers. Second, to describe how these layers look under the microscope. Third, to understand what these structures actually do. And lastly, to compare what we see in frog tissues with those in human tissues.
For this lab, we used a compound microscope and prepared slides of the frog's stomach, frog's small intestine, and human small intestine. These slides helped us see what each part looks like up close, especially the tiny details that we can see with the naked eye. So here's what we did. We first placed the slides of the frog's stomach and small intestine under the microscope. We started with low power or LPO to locate the general structure and switched to HPO or high power to look at specific layers, like the mucosa, which has the glands and villi. After that, we compared those slides with the human small intestine to see what differences we could find. Finally, we wrote, we wrote down our observations and discussed what those differences mean.
When we first observed the slides, we found some interesting differences. The frog's small intestine had simpler villi. They are shorter and fewer, while in humans, the villi are longer and more complex. That's because humans need more surface area to absorb nutrients efficiently. In stomach, we noticed that the gastric pits and glands that help release digestive enzymes. Overall, both humans and frogs have similar layers, but their structures are adapted to their diets and needs.
For the conclusion, we learned that structure and function are closely related. Even though frogs and humans have similar digestive organs, their microscopic features are slightly different depending on their diet. This study helped us see how the small int- intestine and stomach are perfectly designed from their job, digest- digestion and obstruction.
As for our application, this topic isn't just about memorizing parts. It's really about understanding how our body works. By studying histology, we can connect what we see under the microscope to real life body functions. It also reminds us that the digestive system is connected to other systems, even our emotions. That's why we sometimes say we have a gut feeling.
Through this activity, we realized how amazing and complex our digestive system is. It's not it's not just about food, it's about how the body reacts to stress, emotions, and health in general. We learn to appreciate how each tiny structure inside us plays a big role in keeping us alive and healthy. Overall, it was a fun and eye-opening experience to actually see what we've been learning in class.